Right now, a Wisconsin lawmaker is introducing a bill that would allow you to prevent yourself from buying a gun, how it could save lives.
Also, the Dane County mask mandate ends tomorrow. We'll look at the current COVID numbers and what Public Health Madison-Dane County is saying about masking.
And as the war in Ukraine rages on, many people have a lot of questions, and that includes our children, how you can make it easier for them to understand. Welcome to News 3 Now at 6. If you could block yourself from being able to buy a gun, would you do it?
A new take on suicide prevention is once again trying to take root in the Wisconsin Capitol. Naomi Coles explains.
In 3 states, you can put your name on a statewide list banning yourself from buying a gun. It's a relatively new and unknown initiative, and for years, one lawmaker has been trying to bring it to Wisconsin. So I went asking, is it working? In 2013, Fred Vars had an idea.
Right, because I have bipolar disorder, I have been suicidal, and I knew if I had this option, I would take it.
Vars teaches at the University of Alabama, focusing on mental health law. His thought, a law that would allow people to stop themselves from buying guns. In one survey he conducted, 46% of 200 psychiatric patients said they'd sign up if they could.
And that's really when I realized, oh, this could actually save a lot of lives.
Fast forward to 2017. The state of Washington became the first to pass a law built off Vars' ideas. A person can add their name to a statewide list banning themselves from buying a gun. They can also take their name off. In the last 2 years, Utah and Virginia passed similar laws.
If more people knew about it, I think more people would sign up, and I think it would save more lives.
We went to each state and asked how many people had used the law. Did anyone pull their name? The answer, in all, 41 people have banned themselves from buying guns. No one has opted back out.
I see it as a great success. I very much believe that in that 40-some individuals that there have been lives saved. That's a win.
State Senator Melissa Agard of Madison has been trying since 2017 to get Wisconsin its own version of this law. For her and so many, it's personal.
I had an uncle who committed suicide with a firearm, completed suicide. Here in the Capitol building, we lost one of our colleagues to suicide a handful of years ago.
But has the bill gotten so much as a public hearing in the Republican-controlled legislature?
No. There's a real challenge in this building to talk about guns.
She's trying to get Republican colleagues on board.
They're intrigued. I'm going to look into that more, Melissa, is typically what it is that I hear.
Just days ago, she started trying again. She may not make new headway, but in Agard's eyes, she's keeping the conversation going.
And after I've put the bill out, I've had people reaching out to me and saying, I only wish that we had this policy here in Wisconsin. I myself would add my name to that list.
A major roadblock in states where this is a law, people not knowing about it. In fact, the state of Washington is currently working on a bill that would amend their version to encourage mental health professionals to let their clients know that this is an option. How these bills work and how long the ban times are for different states and in Agard's proposed legislation, you can find all that later online at channel3000.com.
Naomi, thank you. Tomorrow is a new month in Dane County. With a new day comes a new update to the mask order. With only 1 day left in Dane County's indoor mask mandate, health officials say COVID-19 cases continue to quickly drop in the county. The current 7-day average, 105 per day. That's less than 10% of peak levels from the Omicron surge. In January, 6% of the entire population of Dane County had a positive PCR test for COVID, but over the last month, case numbers have dropped across all age groups. That being said, they are ready to adjust if needed.
As much as we were fairly confident in the fact that these numbers were consistently falling, and we waited to see that data was stable before making any decisions. But certainly we're always ready to shift and to pivot if we need to.
Public Health pointed out that businesses can still make their own mask requirements. That is similar to any other policy a business owner might choose to enforce on their property. If you're in Rock County, you don't have to wear a mask in most situations. Rock County Public Health announcing that change today following new guidance from the CDC. Masks are still required on public transportation and at airports, and in some cases, businesses and healthcare facilities may still require face coverings.
Many Amazon employees will soon be able to ditch their masks. The company issued a statement saying warehouse workers don't have to wear facial coverings in states where they're not mandated by local laws. This applies to all, regardless of vaccination status. The change goes into effect tomorrow. Other retailers, including Target, are taking similar actions. And let's check your certified most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi.
Well, clouds have started to move in across southern Wisconsin, but that's actually just going to keep our temperatures up tonight after a mild day. As we look at visible cloud track, you can see those clouds starting to come in from the north and west. But as we look at Doppler track, the only precipitation is some some light snow up near Lake Superior and far northern portions of Michigan. Low temperatures this morning started out in the upper teens to the lower 20s here in Madison. We're at 22 for the overnight low. Look at where the afternoon high was, 49 degrees here. A couple of places hit the 50-degree mark in southwestern Wisconsin. And right now, temperatures are still into the 40s over much of southern Wisconsin. Those that aren't are pretty close to that. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will only drop to around freezing or just a little bit below with mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, look for variably cloudy skies. High temperature still on the mild side at 43. Later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that does include some mixed precipitation, but probably not until just before the weekend.
All right, Gary, thank you. The findings from the taxpayer-funded 2020 election investigation will be turned over to lawmakers and made public tomorrow. That's according to a spokesperson for the attorney leading that probe. The report will be released when former state Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman testifies about his findings before the Wisconsin Assembly's Elections Committee. Gableman has defended his work as trying to get to the truth of what happened in the election and has largely focused on grant money awarded to Wisconsin's 5 largest cities.
2 Madison schools are all clear after a bomb threat cut classes short today. Students from both Madison Memorial High School and Jefferson Middle School were evacuated this morning just before 11 o'clock. A school district spokesperson says the bomb threat was detailed and someone called into the Dane County 911 center. While some students seem to be in good spirits, they admit it's been a surreal day.
I definitely feel like the energy is going to be different over the next couple of days. I'm super grateful that everyone is safe and that no one's injured. I think we're super duper lucky.
Classes resumed after the all clear was given. The students we spoke with say they expect this to lead to conversations in their classrooms.
The Madison man charged with killing his sister at her home on Christmas Eve back in 2019 is committed to 40 years in institutional care. Joseph Green had originally been charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of 63-year-old Sheila Green. Court records show he entered a plea of not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect to a second-degree intentional homicide charge earlier this year. According to a criminal complaint, Green shot his sister, then went back to his apartment, threw the gun in the trash, and called 911. The judge said Green's opposition to taking his medication was a reason he's getting institutional care.
So I am concerned about whether or not Mr. Green will be in a position for the rest of his life to really understand the need for him to manage his mental illness, because you do have a mental illness, Mr. Green, and that's why we are here today.
Green has been resistant to taking his medication. He believes that's what made him kill his sister.
A man accused of shooting 3 people, killing 1 at a Wausau cemetery in 2019 is agreeing to a plea deal to avoid a jury trial. 67-year-old Henry West pleaded no contest today to 5 of 17 charges. He was convicted of first-degree intentional homicide, 2 counts of attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and 2 counts of arson. Sentencing is scheduled for May 26.
Russia and Ukraine held their first talks today as the conflict between both countries entered a 5th day. After 5 hours, both delegations agreed to resume negotiations in the near future. Meanwhile, the fighting continues. A senior defense official says Russian forces could attempt to encircle Ukraine's capital of Kyiv in the coming days. Ukrainian President Zelensky has applied for immediate membership into the European Union. Meanwhile, the Pentagon is looking into any threat after the Kremlin put its nuclear weapons on high alert.
Images coming out of Ukraine are scary for anyone, but the conflict may be causing worry or fear in children who see or hear about the unrest. Pediatric psychologist Vanessa Jensen says when talking to kids, keep it straightforward. Jensen says it's a good idea to monitor what your kids see. If a child does see something upsetting, Jensen says to ask lots of questions to gauge what they know and how they feel.
If you see things or hear things that either you wonder about or that just are kind of scary, let's talk about it. Help them normalize those thoughts. It's okay to feel kind of scared that this is happening in our world.
If a child feels unsafe, Jensen says it might help to show them Ukraine on a map so they see the fighting is far away. She also suggests making a card for someone in the military or praying for the safety of people in Ukraine to lessen a child's anxiety.
Still ahead on News 3 Now at 6, UW Health looking to take down one of the deadliest forms of cancer, how a program there is helping them better understand the disease.
And a newly introduced bill could shake up health coverage options in the workplace, what it would create if it's passed.
You're watching Madison's fastest growing newscast. News 3 Now at 6.
Steinhofel's biggest President's Day sale has been extended. There's still time to save big. Start with 35 to 55% off throughout the entire store. And then get great bonus buys like this accent chair, now just $99. A swivel bar stool, only $2.99. Beauty Rest Queen mattress, just $3.99. This queen bed, only $7.99. All this and so much more. Steinhaffel's biggest President's Day sale ever has been extended. Relax, it's Steinhaffel's.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family. Do good things in the community. Help out your neighbors. You've been there for so many others. Now, we're here for you. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. Apply now for a hand up.
Your mission, stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq relief. With RA, your overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq relief. Rinvoq, make it your mission. Learn how AbbVie could help you save on Rinvoq.
Supporters of a public option for health care in Wisconsin gathered to introduce a new bill that could shake up the work insurance marketplace. The act would create a public health coverage option through Badger Care for individuals and small employers, and create a new basic health plan for individuals making 133 to 200% of the federal poverty line. It would also establish a state-based online health insurance marketplace for Wisconsinites to use instead of healthcare.gov.
This is going to increase the number of people eligible for public health coverage and will provide affordable coverage to fit our tight budgets. It will also be available to lawfully present immigrants whose incomes are below 103% of the federal poverty line, but are ineligible for Medicaid due to their immigration status.
The supporters of the bill say it's about saving the average Wisconsinite money and trying to get Wisconsin away from an insurance model that prioritizes profit over patients.
UW Health's Pancreas Cancer Prevention Program is working to stop the deadly disease. The program, which started in 2020, identifies and monitors patients who are at an increased risk of developing pancreatic cancer. As of February, over 1,000 patients are part of the program. Some factors that increase a patient's risk for pancreatic cancer include genetics, family history, and certain types of cysts that can be found in the pancreas.
Our GI colleagues perform a procedure called endoscopic ultrasound, which is a scoping procedure where they can go down with an ultrasound and sample these lesions.
Researchers hope to make the screening process less invasive in the future, but for now, the best way to prevent pancreatic cancer is to catch it before it presents symptoms. Pancreatic cancer, the second most deadly cancer behind lung cancer. Coming up, multiple organizations in Wisconsin are joining in the fight against climate change. We'll find out what new challenge they're undertaking from the Department of Energy.
And the Packers are teaming up with Attorney General Josh Kaul, how they're helping him make it easier to identify missing children.
Plus, things are warming up for the week. Gary will have your complete forecast after the break.
These are the faces that smile so wide at the friends and staff who are by their side, where life is lived with a feeling of pride on every bump of life's great ride that comes from the care that sweetens the air that lives in the house that angels built. Attic Angel Community. Independent homes and 4 levels of assisted living built with the help of angels.
Stop whitening your smile the old-fashioned way with strips and trays that can take 30 minutes to an hour. I'm David Cohen, the COO of Love Your Teeth. When I met the dentist who developed Love Your Teeth and I saw how effective it was and how easy it was to use, I knew we had to share it with the world. Love Your Teeth was clinically studied to whiten natural teeth, as well as stains on caps and veneers. It's so effective, it works on stains caused by coffee, tea, red wine, and even smoking. And for those of you who have that one stained tooth that's darker than the rest, with Love Your Teeth, you can target that area using swab precision.
With Love Your Teeth, my teeth were looking great. Like, I would just wake up every day like, oh my God, my teeth are getting whiter. I'm just so confident in the way that my smile looks.
I'm so happy with the results. Before I started Love Your Teeth, I took a selfie. They're so white, so different.
The brilliance of my teeth now is so much better.
If you have yellowing between your teeth or coffee stains near your gum line, just snap, swab, and smile. And in your first application, you'll see up to 2 shades whiter teeth and 7 shades in 7 days. Stop whitening your smile the old-fashioned way with strips and trays that can take 30 minutes to an hour and get up to 2 shades whiter in your first application.
I love red wine, tea, coffee, and I typically get stains at like the bottom part of my teeth, and it's very obvious. This was my smile before I started using Love Your Teeth. Here's my smile now.
While I was using other teeth whitening products, my teeth became sensitive. With Love Your Teeth, there was zero sensitivity the entire process.
Call for your 10-minute solution to a whiter smile. Order Love Your Teeth today and get 50% off the retail price. And as an added bonus, get a free Love Your Teeth Go Pen with your order. The Go Pen is your on-the-go solution to help prevent stains from adhering to your teeth after drinking coffee, tea, or even smoking. In addition to saving up to 50% on your purchase and your free Go Pen, get free shipping by ordering now. Dial the number on your screen or visit lyt50.com.
You are watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. Green Bay Packers and Attorney General Josh Collar teaming up to make it easier for investigators to identify children. Today, Call announced, along with the organization, they're giving out child identification kits to every Wisconsin student, grades K through 12. Parents could use the kits to fingerprint their children and record the prints on identification cards. They can then give the cards to police if their children go missing.
This is another step that we can take to help prevent missing persons cases from becoming tragic cases.
About 975,000 kits are being provided. The National Child Identification Program says the cards can be especially helpful in confirming the identity of children who have been missing for years. The NFL draft may be coming to Wisconsin. That's according to Packers CEO Mark Murphy. Green Bay, one of 3 finalists to host the 2024 NFL draft. Washington, D.C. and Detroit are also finalists to host the festivities that year. D.C. last hosted the event back in 1941, and Murphy expects to learn the final decision at the annual league meetings held March 27th through the 30th. This year's draft is in Las Vegas.
The U.S. Department of Energy is launching the Better Climate Challenge in an effort to reduce carbon emissions. Today, they held an executive roundtable with organizations on setting and meeting carbon reduction goals. Partners with the program will receive technical assistance from the DOE and learn ways to reduce carbon as they work to meet their goals.
But together, we're going to be able to figure out what works, what actually needs work, what that tells us about the way going forward. And that is going to allow us to illuminate pathways for emissions reductions that similar organizations are going to be able to follow.
More than 80 companies and organizations are committing to reduce their carbon emissions by at least 50% within 10 years. Some of them include Kohl's, Harley-Davidson, UW Health, and the city of Madison. Well, it was a beautiful day today, and we could see more the same tomorrow. Here's Gary with your complete forecast.
We'll just continue to melt some of the snow that's on the ground, and we haven't had that much this season. It's not your imagination. We're finishing up meteorological winter. Today's the last day of that, and tomorrow, March 1st, starts meteorological spring, the 3 months of March, April, and May. But for so far this entire winter season, we're down 17.5 inches of snow compared to normal. We've only had a little over 21.5 inches. Normally by this time, we're at 42 inches of snow. Normally we've picked up about 80% of our snow, and last year we were actually a little ahead of schedule. So it's not your imagination. It has been a less snowy winter than normal, and precipitation-wise, We're also continuing in drought conditions. For the month of February so far, only 0.4 of an inch of precipitation. Of course, February doesn't get a lot of precipitation. That's still over an inch below normal, so that means we've picked up only about a third of what we normally get for the month of February. Since the start of meteorological winter on December 1st, we're down over 2 inches of precipitation. Since the start of the year, we're down 2.11 inches, but last year we were down over 14 inches for the entire year. So since the start of last year, we're down 16 inches of precipitation compared to normal, and it's no surprise that we're in severe drought conditions through Madison and much of south central Wisconsin, moderate drought conditions around that. There's been some improvement up toward the Eau Claire area and especially out to the west across western Minnesota and the eastern Dakotas. The drought conditions have really started to come down. But there's three things you need to know in the forecast. We're going to see mild weather for the next couple of days, no precipitation or very little in the way of precipitation. Cold weather returns for Thursday and then a little bit warmer on Friday, and then as we head into the weekend, we'll see showers. Now that will start out as a mix of precipitation Friday night with some snow, some freezing rain or rain, changing to rain, and maybe even a few thunderstorms on Saturday. Doppler track right now, no precipitation across southern Wisconsin, just some light snow in the far northern portions of the Midwest. As we look at temperatures, a pretty big temperature contrast. 30s and 40s here, it's still pretty mild, but to our south and west, a large area of 60-degree-plus temperatures already into parts of Nebraska. And as we look at weather track, the jet stream is right in between, continuing to bring down our weather systems for the northwest. So this next weather system will lose a lot of its moisture as it gets wrung out over the Rockies, and then it comes in, just bringing some, perhaps a little bit of freezing drizzle or a few snow flurries later tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. And the dividing line are these fronts here. They kind of wiggle north and south depending on where that jet stream lines up. Areas to the south and west stay generally mild. Areas to the north and east generally cold or chilly. And depending on where those fronts are, that determines whether we are warmer or colder. And Thursday will be one of the colder days after a couple of mild days. But right now, temperatures 30s and 40s. Not far to our south and west, temperatures in the 50s, especially where there's little or no snow cover on the ground. Tomorrow, variably cloudy skies. Continued mild, high temperature at 43 degrees. And then as we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, perhaps a couple of flurries or a little patchy freezing drizzle tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. But then we warm up to near 50 on Wednesday, drop back to low 30s on Thursday with perhaps a couple of flurries. Friday back up into the upper 30s, then maybe a mix of precipitation Friday night. And then as it turns warmer on Saturday, we'll see some showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms before we start turning colder again with maybe some light snow from Sunday night into Monday morning. Temperatures for the latter part of next week, pretty close to average.
All right, Gary, thank you. Construction crews are working on I-39-90-94 between the Dane County interchange and the Wisconsin 60 interchange west of Arlington. Lane closures are scheduled for today through March 4th and March 7th through the 11th. Crews will complete pavement scans ahead of more work to be done this summer. Drivers are urged to plan ahead and look out for workers and equipment when driving through that area.
It's officially a Big Ten top 10 battle tomorrow night at the Kohl Center. We hear from the Badgers ahead of their matchup with Purdue. That's coming up next in sports.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Now is the time to turn your dream into a reality with 11% off design and buy projects at Menards. Breeze through your project planning with ease using interactive tools that factor in the details that matter. If you're dreaming of a kitchen with an island for entertaining, a deck to grill up the perfect hot dog, or a post frame building large enough to protect your prized possessions, what are you waiting for? Get a free estimate with instant pricing and buy your project today with Design and Buy at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Announcing Madison Magazine's Best of Madison 2022. Nominate your favorites online, including Two Men in a Truck, Movers Who Care, Best Moving Company. Nominate Two Men in a Truck today at madisonmagazine.com.
Instead of being impartial, media outlets have become advocates for the Democrat Party. They got Joe Biden, who campaigned from his basement, elected president. Now they're covering up the disasters his policies created by attacking and censoring anyone who exposes the failures. But they can't hide inflation, higher gas prices, and rising crime from the people devastated by them. I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message. I will continue to ask questions and uncover the truth.
Some of us are just driven to succeed, to make it to the top and stay there. We drive towards success at everything we do. Always driving, fueled by passion, integrity, and work ethic. Because to us, success means accepting nothing less than being the best. And making sure you're surrounded by a team who is at the top of the leaderboard, like Hy-Vee.
Doing great, Jack.
Hy-Vee's commitment to excellence, their insistence on only the highest standards, and their drive to be the best means when it comes to fresh food, they know fresh. And here's a simple takeaway. If you think you can find any better, then you don't know Hy-Vee, and you don't know Jack.
Move over King Cake. We're celebrating Fat Tuesday with Pączki.
Josh will be at a bakery in the 608 with the taste and tell on this Polish pastry.
And already I'm watching the weekend when our next chance for rain could arrive. That's tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
After a historic weekend of college hoops and another 2-0 week, Wisconsin jumps up 3 spots in the AP Top 25. The Badgers are now ranked 10th heading into the final week of the regular season. And to say this is a big week for UW, that would be an understatement. Badgers host Purdue tomorrow night for a top 10 battle. Now, if they manage to upset the Boilermakers, Badgers clinch at least a share of the Big Ten regular season title. This will be the second meeting of the season. Now, back in January, Wisconsin snagged Game 1 behind a 37-point performance by Johnny Davis. So the stakes are going to be high at the Kohl Center.
Very talented team, like I said, well coached. You know, they kind of like their identity is similar to us. You know, play physical, be tough. So it's so much fun to play against them. You know, I have a lot of respect for what they do, and you know, it's always going to be a battle. It's always going to be a competitive game, and you know, again, like I said, that's why you come here. That's why you come to play in the Big Ten, especially come play at Wisconsin. Is you want to play for Big Ten titles, and you want to play meaningful games at the end of February into March, and you know, that's what we get.
The Badgers also have a chance to make a back-to-back wins over Purdue for the first time since 2015. Tip-off is set for 8, and don't forget, this game is a whiteout. And the Whitewater women's basketball team is going dancing. The Warhawks earned an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, and they're going to host a 4-team regional, which begins on Friday. Whitewater will face Ripon in round 1. Time is to be determined. Also earning a spot in their tourney is the UW Platteville men's team. They will host rounds 1 and 2. Their run begins on Friday at 7 when they play Marion. And the stage is set for the final face-off. The Badgers will face conference rival Ohio State on Saturday. Puck drops at 4 in Minneapolis. The winner of that game moves on to the final face-off championship. That game is set for Sunday. Now, both of these games can be watched on TVW. It's official. The Packers are going to showcase their talents across the pond next season. The team will play in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as part of the NFL's International Series. Now, crazy enough, Green Bay is the last NFL team to play a regular season game in association with this series, which began back in 2007. As of now, a date and opponent, they have not been announced yet, but they will be when the full 2022 schedule is released. And the deadline is almost here for Major League Baseball. Owners and players have until midnight to settle a series of issues, or regular season games will get canceled. This is the 8th straight day of meetings on the collective bargaining agreement. ESPN reports those meetings are still going. Gary?
Temperatures are on the mild side. There's the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. A little sunlight on the far western horizon, but no precipitation here. We've got some clouds, and that'll keep temperatures up tonight. Right now, 43 in Madison. Most areas are in the upper 30s to the lower 40s. Look for a low tonight of around freezing. High temperature tomorrow, lower 40s. And then we'll see mild weather for Wednesday and mild weather for the weekend as well.
Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.